go?
I'm Sharon Chung. I'm your state representative in the 91st District, and I'm running for re-election this year.
Okay, so what are some of your accomplishments or goals that in your past 2 years since you ran?
Well, let's start with, I guess, some of the accomplishments. For me, one of my first bills that I was able to pass in the House was a bill that makes it so that insurance companies cover medically necessary hearing aids. That's something that really can make a huge impact on so many Illinoisans and to help them with their healthcare costs. That's something I was really proud of. It's a big lift. Another one that I was really proud of this year was the statewide battery recycling bill. So what we're doing is creating a statewide battery recycling program, and it's what we call EPR. Shoot, what's it called? Extended Producer Responsibility. Sorry, I was trying to remember what those letters stood for. Extended Producer Responsibility. So what that means is that the battery producers are the ones that actually put some money into it, to investing into helping create this program. Because again, we don't want to see batteries in landfills. We want to be able to dispose of them properly, not creating fires. This bill really creates that program, and we're getting it up and running here in the next 2 years.
And it's been a year since the Pretrial Fairness Act fully went into effect. How do you think that it's working out so far?
I think a lot of evidence has shown that it's really doing what it intended to do. That what we're the number of people who are being held in jails pre-trial is gone down, which I think then also has led to better morale amongst staff in jails, which is great. And then if there's better morale, then you have less burnout. Because I know that here locally in McLean County, they were looking for people who could work in the jail. So hopefully with this sort of thing, they're not dealing with burnout and workforce shortage issues, all those sorts of things. So that is being shown that's, to me, all the evidence and everything that I've read about it has really shown that it's doing what it intended to do. And they're not criminals or restrictions.
That's good. How do you feel cannabis legalization is going and has been for the last several years?
I think that it's been really great. You see it, I think at first you kind of saw some communities be really unsure of the impact that it was going to make, but honestly it's been a great economic boom. It puts tax dollars back into our communities. It's creating great jobs, and I think it's really fantastic. So I'm really happy to see how it's gone. I know there's some talk about now trying to do different things in terms of hemp regulation. There was a bill that was proposed in the Senate, and I don't think it came over to the House in time for us to pass it. But I'll have to see how that turns out.
Is that something you think you'd be supportive of?
Yeah, I think so. For me, I wanted to make sure, in my discussions with it, I wanted to make sure that different businesses weren't being unfairly impacted. But, at least for me, I kind of see it as, there are issues that need to be kind of looked at with the cannabis licensing. But, because it seems like some people of color weren't able to get licenses, there's that whole sort of fairness issue that we're kind of looking at. Hemp was a way for some people to maybe possibly be able to have businesses so they can sell this, but at the same time, if we have like a pretty robust licensing sort of process here in Illinois for cannabis, to me, making hemp really, without very many regulations, it kind of, to me, waters down the meaning of the cannabis licenses. So it's trying to figure out what that good middle ground would be.
Would you be willing to commit to increase of funding for mobile mental health crisis teams that respond to nonviolent and non-criminal mental health crises?
Absolutely. We can see mental health is an issue that hits everybody throughout the state, and mobile mental health is something that I think that I'm not quite sure of how it would work in say rural communities, but I think to me it'd be a great way to reach people in rural communities. And so yes, I am very supportive of funding and putting more funding into any sort of mental health.
Yes. And my last questions: what are your proposals to the massive increase in unhoused people and homeless encampments?
Yeah, I have to say, I've heard this a bit at the doors. Somebody told me today that they thought it was from the border, and I said, no, ma'am, the border's very far away, and the issue is not, migrants coming from the border. What I think that here in Wilmington especially, we've kind of created a welcoming environment for the unhoused, which I think is great because sometimes they're just looking for a sense of community. So I've been, supportive of that in a way, just saying that, this is great that people can kind of feel safe together in this community, because that's what we're always looking for. But now we also have to figure out how to sort of have them be in our community, and then also, give them options of somewhere to live. I don't know. We're looking at some different options if possible, like temporary housing and stuff like that, especially as the winter months are coming. But yeah, I know it's an issue here in our community. A lot of people have mentioned it to me. It is more of like a city thing, to be honest, but if there's funding at the state level, we are kind of looking at that. We have been trying to help the city out with that.
And what do you think about a lot of municipalities are kind of rushing to pass anti-encampment ordinances? Wilmington doesn't have any plans to do that, but they are getting rid of the local encampment in like a week or so.
Yeah,
so
no,
what do you think about those initiatives?
Well, I mean, if local municipalities are rushing to do that, I'm not, we kind of see municipal elections happening this spring, so I'm not sure if those things are important, to be honest. But it's something, I know that it is something that, as I've spoken to a lot of people, their heart goes out to the folks who are unhoused here, and, again, these are probably people who have been down on their luck, maybe have some mental health issues, all those sorts of things. Trying to see how we can help them boost our social services so that they can get the folks to get the help that they need, and also to be able to welcome them and sort of be able to handle this whole situation in a humane way.
Okay, well, thank you so much. That's all the questions I have.
Appreciate it. Awesome.